those are the best and worst restaurants to eat out if you're trying to get lean. Look, approaching restaurants is definitely essential. It's important for you because we have to admit it's just part of our lifestyle. We tend to eat out at least weekly, whether it's with coworkers, friends, family, or just if you want to take a girl like you on a date. So it becomes essential to ask yourself, okay, how do I need to approach those social events for me, not only to enjoy my life, but also get in decent shape? Because the last thing you want is working hard during the week, still hit your workouts, your macros, and then comes Friday nights or the weekend. And now this is a mess because you start eating whatever you want, there is no control on your calories and this and that. And then you start wondering, well, why there is no progress? Why my physique is not changing? But that's because you didn't learn how to approach social event correctly. And personally, I had to come up with, a way of thinking, a way of approaching social events because I love it. I love going out to a nice restaurant with my friends or just take a girl on a date in a fancy places, right? We all love that. So I had to learn how to do it properly in order for me, to have a nice time, but also to stay in decent shape, right? And that's how I come up with this framework. And what I found to be more important than just having a weekly strategy and how to approach that social event during the day, what's more important for me is be selective with the places I'm going to eat out, right? Because some of them are definitely more macro-friendly. It's just gonna make things easier for me if I stick to certain categories of restaurants instead of just going randomly out on a weekly basis, right? And I came up myself with this ranking. I call it classification. You're not gonna find this ranking anywhere else because that's just my personal opinion. And I just found out that if I wanna go out on a weekly basis, well, it's better for me to prioritize what's on the top. Because again, they're macro-friendly and just gonna make things easier for me. Of course, I'm still mindful of what I'm going to have, and I still think in terms of strategy and macros, right? And that's why I make this video because I want you, to learn how to approach your next social event correctly. Because you still have the right to enjoy your life. You still have the right maybe to go on a date with a nice girl and be in shape, right? The last thing I want is just me having a nice dinner, me eating out and canceling all of the progress, all of the hard work that I'm doing during the week. Okay, so if that resonates with you, stick till the end of the video. I'm gonna present you the best and worst restaurant to consider having dining out if you're trying to get in shape. Starting with number 5, which is, in my opinion, the worst type of places you want to go and have dinner. I'm going to explain why, and I'm sorry to disappoint a lot of you. But at the bottom of the list, I'm going to have pizza and pasta. Yes. Why is that? It's because you get barely any protein. And one thing I want to add is the way I made this ranking is I'm asking myself, okay, what type of places I can get the most amount of protein while having a good balance between fat and carbs. And that's why pizza and pasta comes at the bottom of the list because you barely get any protein. It's very low. And what you get mostly is a lot of fat and a lot of carbs. Think about it, pizza is basically flour, which is carbs, and you have a lot of cheese on top of it. So not only it's super high in calorie, but it's super high in fat, super high in carbs. And I'm asking myself, what is the protein? Okay, so I'm not a big fan of having pizza and pasta when I go out. Still, if I wanna have it, I'm gonna have it maybe once every 6-8 weeks at max. It's been probably 2 months for me. I haven't had pizza, right? Because I just prefer prioritizing what's on the top. And it just makes everything easy for me. And let's say you still have to go out to a place where there is pasta and pizza. Well, what I will do, and again, this is just how I approach the thing. It's at least I will have meatballs or like a carpaccio. Just to get started, right? Because at least I'm getting like some protein, and if I can, I know like it's not everyone like favorite pizza, but I love like getting seafood pizza and low cheese. If I wanna be safe, that's what I will do. Okay, but I know like you sometimes just want to enjoy like a nice pizza with some cheese. If you want to do it, like do your best like to share the pizza with someone else. Get at least some protein during the entry and appetizers, and just make sure that you just don't overeat. And personally, as I said, for me, I keep eating. If I want to have like pasta and pizza, and I'm gonna have like probably every 2 months. That's how I do it. Okay? So that's the bottom of the list. I'm sorry to disappoint some of you. I know you guys are like pizza and pasta lover, but this is the reality. Number 4. Well, I'm gonna have like different ones here because for me, like it's all the same. I'm gonna have Mexican. Okay. Also, I'm gonna have like Indian food and anything that is Asian. So this comes like number 4: Mexican, Indian, Asian restaurants. The reason I don't go often to those places is because they're still super high in carbs and super high in fats. Yet, I still believe that you can get more protein in these places than just going to a restaurant where you have pasta and pizza. Right? That's why like it comes like above. But if you're not careful, it's very easy just to have a shit tons of calories. Like if you go to a Mexican places, like they combine different type of carbs together. You're gonna have like the tortilla and the rice. Then you're gonna have a lot of cheese on top of it. Yes, you get the chicken. Same like for Indians, if you go and have like a, how they call like this meal again, butter chicken. Yes, there is chicken, but there is shit ton of butter and fat and all of the coconut milk. And yes, you still get like the protein. Same like for Asian, gonna have like a pad thai, which is some noodle, like some veggies, and some chicken or shrimp, but it's gonna be like sauté. That adds like extra fat and extra calories. So that's why like I'm very careful and I don't go often to those places. But I say like you have to do. Always keep in mind and look for those items in the menu. Okay, go for steamed over fried. So let's say, for example, like just simple example. Don't go with fried rice. Go with white rice instead. Okay, at least you're gonna have the same volume of food, but you're gonna be saving some calories. And if you can, go like for grilled. I know it's not very obvious to have like grilled option because it's all like stir fried. But it's like go to an Asian restaurant. Well, they have like things with chicken skewers, and they're just gonna limit the oil, right? So grilled over oil. Don't mix different carbs together, and again, just be mindful when it comes to fried stuff, because and any form like of fats. Okay, those places they love to have fat. There's gonna be like a lot of invisible calories that you're not even aware of, and that's why if you wanna have those restaurants, probably I will say like once per month maximum. Then number 3, just for me, anything that is 3, 2, 1, this is what I will prioritize the most, right? And in the middle, position number 3, I'm gonna have Mediterranean. I hope I spell it correctly. That's for me like it's in the middle because you can still get a decent amount of protein, a nice Mediterranean restaurant where it's Greek, Spanish, Lebanese restaurant, but also you can just show up and fuck up everything. Because there's a lot of items that are super high in carbs and super high like in fats, and some people like go there and end up having very low amount of protein. Okay, so if I go to, that's why like for me it's in between, because you can even have like moderate carb to super high carbs, or like moderate fat to super high fats, and from low protein to super high like protein. So for me, if I go to those places, I'm still gonna be very mindful of what I'm going to select. And personally, if I go there, the way I approach it is, you just like limit breads. If you go to Mediterranean places, like they're gonna offer you like breads, like for free. Just eat the bread. Just limit the breads, and I would probably go with salads. They have like great salads. If you go to a Greek restaurant, you get a Greek salad. You go to a Lebanese restaurant, you get the fattoush, tabbouleh. They have like low carbs. So I wouldn't mind like having some salads. And also seafood. They have like a lot of seafood option. And grilled meat, chicken. Let's say, for example, I go to a Lebanese restaurant, okay? I'm gonna have like a salad, like a fattoush, and then as an appetizer, maybe I will have like a bit of hummus, because yes, it's still like some carbs, but I'm still getting a little bit of protein. And just be very aware of to not have too much bread with it, because I don't want to spike too much my calories. And for my main meal, I'm gonna have something grilled, which is chicken, or like fish, or some meat, some kebab if there is available. Okay, that's why this one for me it's number 3, because as you can see, you can still get a decent amount of protein, but if you're not careful, it's very easy to overeat calories, especially from carbs. And because of that, maybe this one I'm gonna do twice per month. Actually, no, 3 times per month. Oh, sorry, I'm just messing up things here. Not 3 times per month, but like once every 3 weeks. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Now let's address the top 2 restaurants, okay? Number 2 for me is, sushis. I know some of you are getting happy like to see this one. And the reason like I have sushi number 2 is because in my opinion it's the type of restaurant where you can have a good balance of fat, carbs, and protein. You can go to a sushi place and get decent amount of protein, still get like clean carbs, like and clean fat. But you have to be selective with what you're choosing. And unfortunately, not all sushis are macro friendly, especially those who are deep fried rolls. Okay, those one you don't want to overdo. Maybe you can have like 1, 2. That's okay. But if you have to go to a sushi places, I recommend that you focus more on, nigiris. Those are the simple pieces. We just have the rice and the fish, like salmon and rice, tuna and rice. And I also love sashimis. This one for me are amazing because it's just protein. So if you want to have like those deep fried rolls, I have like, two of them. I make sure to not have like, too much rice, like, again, and have like, sashimi, because at least I'm going to have the protein and saving some calories. So sashimis are definitely a go-to for me. And I just limit fried rolls. You probably notice something like, in any form, like, of restaurant. That's the one thing, like, I'm aware of. Anything that is fried, try to stay away from it because it's just like, extra calories. And sushi, you can have it like twice a month. Okay, they're good. Just be intentional with what you're getting. Nigiri, sashimis, top position, limit fried roll, and you're good to go. And now, the best of the best for me, and this is the king of all restaurants, we have, start with S as well, and it's steakhouse. You know me, I'm a meat lover, so I have to put this one on top position, but not just because I love it, but it's something I can have like at least weekly. Why is that? Is because it's just a steak. I go there, I tell them I want a grilled steak, don't overdo butter, having me like, the grill. I don't want like, any sides, any appetizer. And I know exactly how much calories I'm getting from it. I know exactly the protein, right? But it's very easy as well to mess up, steakhouse, because people go there and they just order all of these appetizers, right? I don't do it. I'm still very smart when I go to a nice steakhouse. And what you want to look for is, of course, ribeye, sirloin, basically any cut that you love, okay? Just know that all of the red meat cuts are not created equal. If you go for ribeye, it's gonna be higher fat than sirloin, okay? So if I'm still like, mindful, if I have like a ribeye or like my favorite one, tomahawk. If I have like, those two, ribeye and tomahawk, which are higher in fat than sirloin or filet mignon, I'm just gonna cut the carbs somewhere. So if I have those one, I'm gonna go like with a light salad or some veggies. And if I go over sirloin, probably gonna have mashed potatoes over fries. Again, everything that is fried is the enemy when you eat out, okay? So you can do some smart swap. So mashed potato over fries. If I have like, sirloin or filet mignon, a cut that is, moderate to low fat. If I have a super high cut, like ribeye and tomahawk, I'm just gonna cut like, the carbs and have like, something where carbs like, are barely inexistent, like veggies and salad. And also, like no appetizers. Go and see like, fuck it. If I go to a steakhouse restaurant, I want to enjoy like, a nice steak. And that's why for me, I can have it weekly. Nothing wrong because I know exactly what I'm getting for as long as I'm still intentional with what I get and if I give clear instruction to the chef. I don't tell them to overdo like, butter. If you can have grilled, that's perfect. Just a small nut of butter for the taste. But that's it. Steakhouse, number 2. And that's it. Those are the best and worst restaurants, in my opinion, to eat out if you're trying to get in shape. Just to recap, worst place for me, it's having like, pizza and pasta. It's too much fat, too much carbs. Then we have like, Mexican, Indian, Asian food. Yes, you can get like, a bit of protein, but there are so many invisible calories in my opinion, and it's easy to fuck up things. Mediterranean is in between because you can still have like, a good amount of protein, And if you don't know what to do, you're gonna just mess up everything. So I still having like, number 3, just again, remember what you said, limit breads and go like, for seafood, grilled meat or chicken when you're there. Sushi, number 2, overall good balance between fat, carbs and protein. Just stay away like, from fried rolls. And number 1 is steakhouse, king of the king for me. Cannot go wrong with a nice steak. Yet still stay smart, no fries, no appetizers, and you're gonna be saving some calories so you enjoy your favorite cuts. Okay, and that's it, guys. Like, remember, like, it's not forbidden, it's not impossible to be in top shape while enjoying your social life, having a nice restaurant. You just need to have like, a framework in mind and be intentional with where you're going to eat. And if you do that, I guarantee you're gonna be enjoying your life, enjoying your food, and be in decent shape. And if you want a more customized approach for you, it's gonna be a link in the description of the video where you can reach out to me and apply for one-on-one coaching. And that's it. All my guys, like, they have family, they have social life. I teach them how to do that properly. And if you've been struggling with that, don't hesitate to reach out. In the meantime, I see you on the next video.